presentation, and I hope everyone is staying with us. So I'm going to stop the share so we can see everyone's beautiful faces. Thanks
Thanks,
so much.
Dave. Really appreciate that. Dave, I'm gonna switch the spotlight over to Howie. So Howie's gonna give us Howie Swerdloff, who serves in our contract enforcement team and is also secretary on the union board. Will just give us a few brief words about contract enforcement before we switch over to Q&A.
So Dave, that was extremely helpful. I have to do my own packet this weekend. Of course, I left it to the last second, and this is my third time. Molly, I think one of my earlier applications is in the toolkit that you're going to send out, and just folks, don't hold it against me. It's from a long time ago. I'm going to be updating it this weekend. Anyway, that was great. Hi, everyone. It's great to see you all here today. Dave asked me to provide some background on the contract enforcement team. I was a member of the bargaining team that negotiated our current contract, backed up, of course, by thousands of our members and colleagues and students that were out on the picket line. And once the contract was signed, the team morphed into the contract enforcement team, along with other union volunteers. And we kind of take it personally that we need to make sure that these historic wins, like advancement, were not just on paper, but also actualized to benefit all of us. So what does the contract enforcement team do? Well, we staff the CET helpline. That email address is at the bottom of the PowerPoint for your reference. And this is a place where we answer members' questions pretty much every day about the contract, especially regarding advancement, appointments, issues with reappointment, professional development funds, and other issues. Often we're able to resolve these problems by steering the member in the right direction, perhaps by notifying some of the friends we've made in the payroll department, often by emailing or calling their department chairs, who are union colleagues most of the time. And occasionally we have to go to management to raise issues that need their intervention. And we have been successful in dozens of cases. It should be no surprise to you that most of the problems that come to our attention are misunderstandings or clerical errors or people misplacing advancement packets and things, or people being misclassified as coads, that, as Dave mentioned, right? And these are things that we're able to get fixed. So that's good. But sometimes, right, we find it necessary to escalate these issues using the grievance process that we negotiated. In fact, since the fall of 2023, we have initiated nearly 30 grievances. I don't know if that's a lot or a little, but it's the number. And some of these are still making their way through the system. It's a slow and cumbersome system, and expensive. We also use the information that we get from our members on the CET helpline and through the grievance process to identify patterns and to record and analyze gaps in the current contract. So we'll be ready to correct them at the bargaining table. And this contract is expiring in 2026, so we're going to start negotiating very soon. So we're going to be happy to answer any questions you may have about the advancement process or contract enforcement team. But let me add a brief note about our current situation at Rutgers. So even before the political situation in Washington turned so hostile to higher education. And I'm sure you're aware of the fact that it is extremely hostile. We all have targets painted on our backs. Even before that, we faced numerous challenges to academic freedom, problems with layoffs, like in the New Brunswick writing program, in the New Brunswick Asian language department. We have faced increased class sizes, cuts in course loads, like in the Graduate School of Education, where members are teaching 2 courses with the same number of students as they used to have in 3 courses and being paid for 2 courses instead of 3. And also unfairly denied advancements. So these are problems we already had. And all of these problems are undoubtedly going to be exacerbated by the new political situation and the budgetary pressures that are going to come upon this university. We're going to need to act together to defend this contract and to defend this institution. Management has far too many prerogatives in this contract and in New Jersey labor law. There are too many things they can do that affect our working lives and our students' learning conditions that they can use to justify as academic judgment and other rationalizations. Our job security, right? Job security, I'll say it again. That's the single biggest challenge facing adjuncts and also our contingent brothers and sister NTTs in the full-time union. We're going to have a big fight on our hands in the next contract. We already would have had a big fight on our hands in spite, without the current circumstances getting so difficult. This fight is going to challenge the fundamentals of the way this university uses and disposes of our labor. And now we have to go beyond these contractual concerns to defend this public university from the attacks coming out of Washington. Management has told us already. Management has told us that they need us to help them lobby in Trenton and to mobilize to defend this university. They're facing hundreds of millions of dollars in funding cuts. I'm not exaggerating. Okay? Of course, we will mobilize to defend this university. But in return, we have every right to expect that they will protect our jobs and the integrity of our students' education. We know that, quote, management never lets a crisis go to waste, as that saying goes. We can't allow that to happen again, as it did during the pandemic, when we lost 20% of our faculty and staff. We're now in the process of planning a strategy to fight back. We need you. We need your ideas, we need your energy, and we need your involvement if we're going to survive this and move forward. We can only win if we're united, so please stay involved. And thank you for listening to me getting on the soapbox here. Molly.
Thanks, Howie. I appreciate that. I'm going to remove your spotlight, and I think we're going to move into the next section of the agenda, which is the final section, which is Q&A.